Hey there, future voter. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Buddy the Ballot, your election guide and voting buddy. Today I'm here on the Renaissance Spirit channel to help you make a voting plan. Never heard of a voting plan? Well, that's what I'm here for. Think of a voting plan as your personal roadmap to make sure your voice is heard. It's not just about showing up to vote. It's all the steps before that too. Registering, researching, figuring out how to get there, and making sure you know who you're voting for. And why is voting so important and crucial in a democracy? Because you deserve to be heard, and you represent that voice by electing candidates who can advocate for your needs, your values, and the future you envision. Voting gives you the power to shape policies, protect rights, and ensure that your community's interests are reflected in the decisions that affect us all. In a democracy, each vote is an act of civitas, strengthening our collective power and responsibility to create a society that serves everyone fairly, with reason and compassion. Now, you might be wondering why our channel, the Renaissance Spirit, is interested in voting. It's because our channel believes in knowledge, justice, and the pursuit of a better world. Much like how the Renaissance revived art, science, and culture, we aim to revive truth, understanding, and humanity's responsibility to each other. And that includes voting, one of the most powerful tools we have to shape our society. By the end of our journey today, you'll know everything from how to register to how to pick a candidate that embodies what we call civitas. That's just a fancy way of saying a sense of shared duty and commitment to society in any election. So buckle up, because this is going to be one amazing civic adventure. So first things first, let's talk about civics and some of the key terms you'll need to understand in this video. Civics, civic virtue, and civitas are interconnected concepts that play essential roles in the functioning of a democratic republic and in fostering responsible citizenship. Civics is the study of the rights and responsibilities of citizens within a society. It encompasses the knowledge of how government works, the laws that govern us, and the principles underlying our political systems. Understanding civics equips citizens with the information needed to participate actively and effectively in democracy, from knowing how to vote to understanding the implications of government decisions on their lives and communities. Civic virtue refers to the habits, attitudes, and moral qualities that promote the common good and the well-being of the community. It embodies the idea that individuals should prioritize the needs of society over their own interests and engage in actions that foster a sense of community, such as volunteering, advocating for social justice, or participating in public discourse. Civic virtue is crucial for maintaining a healthy democracy, as it encourages citizens to act responsibly and thoughtfully in their civic duties. Civitas is a Latin term that translates to citizenship, or the rights of citizenship. It signifies a sense of belonging and responsibility to the community and emphasizes the importance of active participation in civic life. Civitas reflects the understanding that being a citizen goes beyond legal status. It includes an engagement in the democratic process and a commitment to the values of equality, justice, and mutual respect. In a democratic republic, civics provides the foundation for informed participation. Civic virtue fosters ethical behavior and a commitment to the common good. And civitas encourages active engagement and responsibility among citizens. Together, they promote a vibrant and functional democracy where citizens are informed, responsible, and committed to the welfare of their community. To become a better citizen, you can utilize these tools in several ways. Educate yourself. Take the time to learn about your government, its functions, and the laws that govern you. Engaging in civics education helps you understand your rights and responsibilities, making you a more informed voter and participant. Practice civic virtue. Demonstrate civic virtue by participating in community service, volunteering, or supporting local causes. This not only strengthens community bonds, but also encourages a culture of mutual support and responsibility. Engage actively. Exercise your civitas by attending town hall meetings, engaging in discussions about local issues, and advocating for policies that align with your values. Being an active participant in your community helps you connect with others and influence positive change. Promote inclusivity. Encourage others to join in the democratic process and advocate for the inclusion of diverse voices in civic discussions. Recognizing and valuing different perspectives strengthens the community and enriches the democratic process. By embracing civics, civic virtue, and civitas, you contribute to a healthier democracy and cultivate a more engaged, informed, and compassionate society. Each of these tools enhances your ability to navigate civic life, ensuring that your voice is heard and that you can play a meaningful role in shaping your community and government. Next, let's talk about voter registration. Before we can talk about making a plan to vote, let's make sure you're eligible to vote. Yep, no shortcuts here. And lucky for you, I know all about registration. First things first, are you already registered? Many people think they are, but sometimes life has a funny way of shuffling things around. Maybe you moved, maybe you changed your name, had your registration purged, or maybe you just turned 18. Whatever the case, let's make sure you're good to go. Now, if you're not yet registered, there are a few different ways you can do it: online, by mail, or even in person. Every state has its own rules and deadlines, but thanks to some fantastic tools like vote.org and usa.gov, you can find everything you need to know with just a few clicks. And once you're registered, keep that confirmation safe because it's like your golden ticket to the polls. To find out things like deadlines, where your polling place is, and other information, I recommend checking out ballotready.org as well. Once you're on the list, you're one step closer to casting your vote. But wait, there's more. Voting doesn't stop with registration. Up next, we'll look at how to decide where and how you'll cast your ballot. It might sound simple, but believe me, the logistics are important. Alright, now that you're registered, let's figure out how you're going to vote. There are actually a few different options, and they all have pros and cons. Will you be mailing in your vote? Voting early? Or maybe you're more of a traditionalist and want to vote in person on election day. Each choice has its own considerations, so let's break it down. If you're leaning toward mail-in or absentee voting, you'll want to request your ballot as early as possible. In most states, you can request it online, and you'll receive a special envelope with everything you need to vote by mail. Don't forget though, deadlines matter here. If you're late returning it, your vote may not be counted, so mark your calendar with those mailing dates and give yourself a cushion of time. Plus, mailing in your vote means you can research each candidate or issue in the comfort of your home. Talk about civitas, right? You're taking the time to ensure your vote is well informed. Now, if you're interested in early voting, you're in luck. Many states allow you to vote in person before election day, which can be a great way to avoid the crowds. Think of it as an express lane for voters. Just make sure you know the early voting locations near you and their hours of operation. Early voting can give you some flexibility if you work odd hours or have other obligations on election day. Finally, there's the classic in-person voting on election day. You'll need to know where your polling place is, what time it opens, and whether you'll need to bring identification. Planning your trip ahead of time is key. Maybe you need a ride or want to make it a group outing with friends. Voting is more fun when it's part of a shared civic experience. And speaking of civic experiences, let's talk about what happens next: deciding who you'll actually vote for. Choosing how you'll vote is like deciding your path in an epic journey. And once you've got your voting method locked down, you're ready for the next step: diving into the issues and the candidates. This is where it gets exciting, so don't go anywhere. Now comes the fun part, or what I like to call the heart of the matter: deciding who to vote for. Let's face it, the ballot can look a bit like a maze of names and issues. But don't worry, I've got some tips to help you navigate. This is your chance to do some serious civic homework and make choices that reflect your values. Learning about candidates, elections, and issues, making reasoned and compassionate decisions, and then putting them to action by voting, and the other methods of active citizenship like signing petitions, volunteering, talking to open-minded people about politics and issues that matter to you, or working on some issue or agenda not only reinforces democracy but builds belonging, relationships, and a sense of ownership in the whole process. Sounds like fun to me, or at least it would if it wasn't so confusing, so we're going to demystify it all in this section. The League of Women Voters has an interesting article that starts off saying there are two ways to judge a candidate, either looking at their policies or the leadership qualities and experience they bring to the table. This will involve some research, media literacy, critical thinking, reason, and compassion, and unfortunately some time to make up your mind if you haven't already. Let's break down those steps next. First, a golden rule of researching candidates is to use trusted sources. Sites like vote41.org are fantastic for providing unbiased, factual summaries of candidates and ballot measures. Look up each candidate's position on issues that matter to you. What are their goals? Do they have a history of community service, or have they supported policies that promote the common good? Knowing where candidates stand is crucial for picking the ones who will act in the best interest of the community, a true measure of civitas if you ask me. Talking about golden rules, let's talk about the golden rule. Treat others as you would like others to treat you, or to put another way, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is a simple yardstick when it comes to selecting candidates. Which candidate is going to do the most good for the most people? Always keep this in mind when selecting a candidate. This is also a helpful check if you ever find yourself supporting a candidate who doesn't align with your views and the overall commons, or the common good. We all need to ask ourselves, is this candidate good for the country? And if not, what are my own motivations for supporting them? This utilitarian approach is both an ethical and sound way to frame the selection process. When candidates don't perfectly align with your views, prioritizing what's important to you can make all the difference. Here are a few steps to help you clarify your priorities. Identify core values. Start by listing the values or issues that matter most to you. These could be areas like healthcare, education, economic stability, social justice, or environmental protection. Think about what aligns with your principles and what issues directly impact your life and community. Weigh immediate versus long-term needs. Consider both immediate needs and long-term goals. For example, if economic recovery is an urgent priority, you might look for candidates who prioritize economic policies. Long-term issues like climate change may lead you to candidates focused on sustainability and environmental action. Unless a short-term outcome benefits a long-term goal, you're probably better off prioritizing the long-term goal and the steps to get there. Consider the candidate's integrity and record. Sometimes it's not just about specific policies, but about whether a candidate has shown integrity, accountability, and dedication to the public good. A candidate's track record in service and past decisions can indicate how consistently they may uphold their promises. And as we discuss in our video, Americans don't like to talk about money. Every decision, every agenda and action has outcomes, costs, and possibly unforeseen consequences. Think of your life as a piggy bank. You deposit money in and you take money out. It's not unlimited, and you have to budget for your immediate needs as well as your long-term goals, maybe buying a house or saving for health bills or a vacation or retirement. Think of the government that way too, a big piggy bank that we all pay into in one way or another. Which priorities will get funded and which ones won't, and how will your supported initiatives be financed? Just like with your own piggy bank, every dollar has to be accounted for in government spending, and not every priority can be fully funded. When you're considering which candidate or policy to support, it's essential to think about how they plan to achieve their goals and at what cost. Ask yourself questions like, where will the funding come from? Is it through taxes, borrowing, or reallocating from other programs? Who will bear these costs? Consider whether the proposed funding could impact services you care about or lead to higher taxes or debt in the future. Next, think about the outcomes and ripple effects. For example, funding a healthcare initiative might improve public health and reduce medical costs long-term, but could mean short-term budget cuts in other areas. On the other hand, prioritizing infrastructure might boost jobs and economic growth, but could affect education or social services funding. Each action has a chain reaction, sometimes with benefits down the line, but sometimes with costs we might not see right away. Finally, consider the big picture and unforeseen consequences. What could happen if a certain policy succeeds and or fails? Are there potential risks that haven't been addressed, like economic fluctuations or shifts in demand that could affect the policy's effectiveness? Good governance requires weighing all these factors to ensure a balanced approach that addresses today's needs without compromising future stability. By thinking critically about both the immediate and long-term impacts, you can make informed choices that reflect not only your values, but also your vision for a sustainable, equitable future. Think broadly about impact. Even if a candidate isn't perfectly aligned with all of your views, consider whether their overall impact will contribute positively to the areas most important to you, to your community and country. Often, this requires a bit of compromise, but helps you find the candidate who best represents a blend of your priorities. By thinking through these aspects, you can create a personal election scorecard that helps you make a decision aligned with what matters most to you in this election. Next up, don't forget those ballot initiatives. Sometimes your vote is about more than just people. It's about policies that can impact your community directly. Whether it's education, healthcare, or environmental issues, ballot initiatives are a powerful way to shape your local laws. Take the time to read each one carefully. Ask yourself, how will this affect my community? And does this measure uphold civic virtues like fairness and justice? Still with me? Good, because we're about to tackle a big question. How do you tell if a candidate is truly invested in civic virtue? Keep watching, because next we'll look at how to spot a candidate who walks the walk when it comes to integrity and commitment to the public good. These are the ones who make decisions that strengthen democracy itself. With your research tools in hand and your mind open, you're well on your way to making choices that will make a positive difference. Let's keep the momentum going. Up next, I'll show you how to spot civic-minded candidates who truly represent the spirit of democracy. Alright, here's where things get serious. You're not just looking for someone who shares your values. You're looking for someone who embodies civic virtue, that sense of duty, integrity, and service to the public good. But how do you spot that in a candidate? Don't worry, I'll show you what to look for. Let's start with their agenda and record. A candidate's proposed policies give you a glimpse into their priorities and intentions. Look for a platform that aligns with fairness, justice, and a commitment to the well-being of all people, not just a few. Do they support programs that will improve education, healthcare, or environmental protection? Civic-minded candidates often talk about creating a positive impact on society, even if it means making tough choices. Check their past record too. Have they followed through on their promises, or have they had a history of putting personal interests above the public good? Another big giveaway is how they talk about service and inclusion. A candidate who understands civitas, that's the ancient Roman idea of a citizen's responsibility to society, will focus on ways to build bridges, not tear people down. Listen to their messaging. Do they encourage civic engagement? And are they open about their plans to involve people in the democratic process? Civic virtue means looking beyond the spotlight to uplift and empower others. In short, a candidate with true civic virtue leads with integrity, even when it's hard. And if you're still unsure, see what trusted organizations and endorsements have to say. Community leaders, local advocacy groups, and even news outlets can provide useful insights on a candidate's character. Be selective about the sources, though. Make sure you're gathering information from reputable organizations that value democracy. With these pointers, you're now equipped to spot leaders who are motivated by a genuine desire to serve. Up next, we'll talk about making Election Day itself a breeze with a simple, effective plan. So hang in there, we're almost to the big day. Feeling inspired? If you are, that's great. If not, I recommend watching our video Cicero and the American Psyche that talks more about these topics. Knowing who embodies civic virtue is key to making choices you can feel proud of. Now, let's get into the final step, preparing for Election Day so you can cast that well-informed vote with confidence. We're almost there, friend. By now you're registered, you know your voting options, and you've done your homework on the candidates. Now it's time to talk logistics for the big day. Having a plan in place for Election Day is the cherry on top of a well-prepared voting plan journey. First things first, schedule your time. Voting doesn't always happen on the weekend, so if Election Day falls on a Tuesday, check in with your boss or school about taking a bit of time off. Employers are often required to give you time to vote, so make sure you're aware of any policies that can help you get to the polls. And if you have kids or other obligations, work them out in advance. Next up is transportation. Do you know where your polling place is? Have you mapped out your route? Whether you're taking a car, using public transit, or walking, make sure you know how to get there in advance. And hey, voting can be a social experience too. Invite a friend or family member to go with you. It's a great way to inspire others and make the experience fun. Plus, if they're new to voting, you can help them feel confident in navigating the process. You can find your polling place on ballotready.org. And here's a pro tip. Be prepared with everything you need. Some states require identification, so check your local requirements and bring your ID if needed. If you're voting by mail, double-check your envelope for accuracy before you send it off. The last thing you want is for your ballot to get disqualified over a missed signature. The beauty of being prepared is that it leaves more room to focus on the experience. Voting is your chance to participate in the democracy we all share, exercising that civitas spirit by contributing to the future. Imagine it like casting a vote in ancient Rome. Only now, instead of casting pebbles, you're casting a vote that will help shape the policies and leaders that affect us all. With your Election Day game plan in place, you're fully prepared for a smooth, fulfilling voting experience. But don't go just yet. I've got one final message for you that ties all of this together. So let's wrap up this journey the Renaissance spirit way. And there you have it, my friend. You're officially equipped with everything you need for a successful voting plan. Whether you're a first-time voter or a seasoned pro, this journey is all about making sure your voice counts, your values shine through, and you're choosing leaders who'll work for a better tomorrow. I have links in the description for more information on the ideas discussed here, so you can take this knowledge and grow it to be an even more engaged citizen than you are now. I also have several videos on these topics. I've already mentioned a few. For the full library, check out my videos in my Civics, Civic Virtue, and Politics podcast. As your friendly neighborhood ballot, I'm proud to be part of this journey with you. But more than just voting, think about what this all represents. The spirit of civitas, our shared responsibility to one another and to society. Voting isn't just about individual choices, it's about contributing to a fairer, stronger world for everyone. And that's where Renaissance Spirit comes in. Our channel is dedicated to the pursuit of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. We cover history, politics, society, personal growth, social justice, and so much more. We explore ancient wisdom like the stories of Rome and show how these lessons can guide us in today's world. Voting is one of the best ways to embody the Renaissance spirit. Just as the Renaissance was a rebirth of knowledge, each vote is a chance to bring new ideas and hope to life. The Renaissance wasn't just about art and science. It was about uncovering truth, seeking knowledge, and using that knowledge for the good of all. In that spirit, let's embrace voting as a way to better understand our world and make it a place where fairness, compassion, and justice thrive. Each vote you cast helps shape a world that values everyone's voice and takes a stand for what's right. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share it with others who might need a voting plan. And remember to check out our other videos exploring everything from ancient history to modern-day justice. Topics that are perfect for the curious, compassionate Renaissance soul. But before you go, why not take our Renaissance Spirit quiz to see just how deeply you connect with the values of civitas and civic virtue? History has not died, only our understanding of it has. So let's awaken it together and strive to live fully, think deeply, and create positive change. Live the Renaissance Spirit.
Hey there, I'm Buddy the Ballot, don't see. I'm here to take you on a journey with me. First step is registration, gotta get in the game. Fill out that form, it's the first step to fame. Research the candidates, what do they say? What's their agenda, what's on their way? We'll look into the records, see who they are. Make an informed choice, you'll be a voting star. Buddy the Ballot, I'm ready to roll. From your hands to the box, I'll help you take control. Casting your vote, let your voice be heard. In this democratic world, it's more than just a word. Now it's election day, the excitement is real. Grab your ID, it's time to seal the deal. Head to the polls, stand in that line. With each passing moment, it's your time to shine. Fill in your choices, make sure it's clear. Double check your marks, the end is near. Off to the ballot box, I'm feeling so proud. Your vote's like a thunder, let it shout out loud. Now let's talk about the Electoral College. They count up the votes, it's their knowledge. Each state gets a say in the final score. The voice of the people now and nevermore. Congress plays a role in this grand display. They count the votes and lead the way. So remember, dear friends, when you cast your vote, you're part of a process, you help it flow. Buddy the Ballot, I'm ready to roll. From your hands to the box, I'll help you take control. Casting your vote, let your voice be heard. In this democratic world, it's more than just a word. It's just words. Now let's talk about the Electoral College. They count up the votes, it's their knowledge. Each state gets a say in the final score. The voice of the people, now and evermore. Congress talk about the Electoral College. They count up the votes and lead the way. So remember, dear friends, when you cast your vote, you're part of a process, you help it flow. Buddy the Ballot, I'm ready to roll. From your hands to the box, I'll help you take control. Casting your vote, let your voice be heard. In this democratic world, it's more than just a word. So here's to democracy, to every brave heart. Every vote it's a vital part. With Buddy the Ballot, let's join the parade. Together we'll shape the future we've made. Just words. So here's to democracy, to every brave heart. Every vote matters, it's a vital part. With Buddy the Ballot, let's join the parade. Together we'll shape the future we've made.